Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 531, we're going to talk about Renata, Called to the Hunt. Now these constellation prints are so dark. This is actually a foil, but they are so dark, I like them. There's Ultra Pro's got a table mat, a playmat size of a 6-foot table that's got like all of the constellation. It's beautiful. Anyway, for 4 mana, we get a demigod. This is our first demigod that we've covered. Star 3, power equal to your devotion to green. That can be dangerous. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So, really good. Now, this is... we are going to go wide to go tall, if you understand what I'm saying. The idea here is Renata is... we can win with commander damage just because that her power is going to be huge. And with the card that's in there, Rogue's Passage, making it unblockable. But this is Theros, right? It's the devotion. We got to get that devotion up there. So let's look at how we're going to do that. Well, she's an enchantment and a creature. So enchantments and creatures. That's permanents, green mana symbols on the board. So let's start with our ramp, shall we? We're using, not very many artifacts. Of course, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, but Wild Growth. And the reason why, I'm going to take a break from the enchantments here. The reason why we're using Wild Growth and is for the Enchantress type cards. You know what I'm talking about. You play an enchantment draw card for Durin Enchantress. The new Cetesian Champion, which is everything we wanted to be because it gets bigger as well. Enchantress's presence. That's going to facilitate some card draw. So, Wild Growth on turn 1's amazing, yeah. But when you draw it on turn 7, you're like, it's a Wild Growth. Well, then it's possibly still drawing you a card. So, that's why I went kind of deep with those, We have Market Festival, Overgrowth, New Horizons. Now keep in mind these are also permanents on the board, adding to your devotion to green. The Haven, Fertile Ground, Colony Heart Expedition. Because this just rewards you for just playing Magic, Of course, then the other creatures, Yavimaya Dryad. This one, we might... 2 pips, we may leave it out there instead of, Plague Mirror. It does ramp, and we've got enough pump up in here, we might could steal an Infect win off of it. Care Measure's Acolyte, because let's face it, this is a green devotion deck, right? We want this card. Crop Rotation to go get that Rogue's Passage, just in case that's our route to victory. We did some of the Enchantresses, but she's really big. Part of the Enchantress package, as it were. Now, Garrick's Pack Leader kind of looks odd, but keep in mind our other creatures are going to come into play with an extra 1/1 counter on them. So now all of our printed 2/2s draw us a card. So that's kind of sweet. But we'll refer back to the Pack Leader later. This is an amazing card. Now, I want to talk for a second about a cycle of cards from the original enchantment block. That's right, Urza's Saga. Urza's Saga had a site. It was supposed to be an enchantment cycle. It got kind of relabeled. Won't go into that story. But the hidden enchantments. They are all cheap enchantments that stay in enchantment until one of your opponents does a thing. Like right here, if they cast a creature with flying, hey, this becomes a spider. But it's 1 mana. Now, the payoff here is, yeah, you're kind of dependent on your opponents to turn them on, but here in this deck, we don't so much care that much because, number one, it's an enchantment for all of our enchantment synergies. It's cheap. If it's not a creature, hey, it probably drew me a card or two, right? So, and the conditions are not that far-fetched. Like, cast a creature with flying. Okay, that happens a lot. Hidden gorillas. Cast an artifact spell. I can see this. Can you imagine? Okay, everybody plays artifacts, right? So if you turn one this, and then the next player plays their turn one whatever, spellbook, soul ring, whatever, and you just have a 5/3 swinging on turn two. Hidden stag plays a land, it becomes a 3/2. You know, this was the rare because, let's face it, everybody's going to play lands. But whenever you play a land, it turns back into an enchantment. It rehides. And then we have hidden ancients. Cast an enchantment spell, which, you know, here it's going to be more common, becomes a 5/5 tree folk. So, I don't know. I thought about those, and I thought that those were really neat cards. So let's look at our creature package, shall we? We have got... Hey, y'all remember Garrick's Pack Leader? Nakata War Pride takes such advantage of that because, yeah, it spits out a bunch more Nakata War Prides that are coincidentally 3/3s. Actually, you know, now they're 4/4s if our commander's out. So we're going to draw a ton of cards. A lot of this is just like the Nyxborn Colossus. It's got 3 pips. Yes, it is a vanilla creature. It's got 3 pips. It's going to contribute to our devotion. Humbler of Mortals. You know, it's got Constellation. Creatures, all of them, gain trample. Nylea's Forerunner. Our other creatures have trample. Paragon of the Eternal Wilds. It's a anthem, and you can selectively give a green creature trample. Now, obviously, you know, loving the trample here because we have a commander that is, you know, high-powered. Nylea's Emissary. Love the bestow because you can bestow this onto your commander, right? Nantuko Blightcutter. I also wanted cards that had some kind of evasion on them. Protection from black, pretty good. Great Sable Stag, protection from blue and black, very, very good. And it's got 2 green pips. Boon Satyr. Gunyaro Bees. This is living the dream, right? It's got flying, it's 3 pips. This is what I'm here for. Nyxborn Wolf. Oakheart Druids has Constellation. You know, 1/1 to end of turn. Gladecover Scout. Whoop. Gladecover Scout. It's hexproof. They're not targeting it. Bayou Dragonfly. Now, I love this. Flying and Swamp Walk. And to be honest with you, if I had an extra Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, I'd be playing it in this deck. And you're thinking that's not possible because it's a black card. It's not. There's not a black mana symbol in that card anywhere. Yeah, it's a land. It's a colorless land. You can play it. And I'll probably, I don't know. There's a lot of green cards with Swamp Walk, but this has double evasion, so we can, you know, strap our pump up things to it. God forbid if we draw our Blanchwood armor, but Thorn Elemental, Super Trample. You know, don't matter if you're blocking them, just still going to do the damage to you. Verdant Force. You know, it's a giant 7/7 body. It's got 3 pips. Spits out a blocker every single turn. We have a Leaf Crown Dryad. You know, here again, the bestow creatures are awesome because you get double duty. You're paying more for it, yes, for the bestow cost, but if the creature dies, it just grows legs and pops off, you know. End-raise Forerunners, 3 pips, 7/7, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. I mean, enters the battlefield other creatures, you can get +2/+2 and Vigilance. What? Yeah. Smashy, smashy. And Groundbreaker. Because it's funny, that's why. I mean, essentially, it's a giant growth to our commander, and it's another 6/1 body. Yeah, it only lasts a turn, but a lot of times that turn, that's all you need. Now let's look at our enchantments. Rancor. Don't have a Rancor. Need a Rancor in a bad way. This deck is begging for a Rancor. Let's look at Stormfront. Tap target creature with flying. We're going to be able to produce some serious green mana with this deck. So being able to tap flyers is very, very beneficial. Bear Umbra, untapping our lands. Now, maybe one of the top old cards to get a lot of love from Theros, Ancestral Mask is the real deal, folks. I mean, +2/+2 for each other enchantment play. That's not you control. That's each enchant, period. Yeah, that's what's the phrase? Amazeballs. Snake Umbra because of Love Totem Armor. Let's look at Pattern of Rebirth. And why is there like suddenly glare? That's a little better. Pattern of Rebirth. Whenever enchanted creature is put into a graveyard from play, that creature's controller may search as a library for another creature. So, whatever it dies on, you get to go pick something and put it into play. Yeah, that's fair and balanced. Now, Crystal Chimes, another old card that has been helped out quite a bit by Theros. This is going to go get your enchantments back. Well, to your hand anyway. Broken Fall, great card to regenerate target creature, and I love the fact that in order to activate it, you return this to your hand, so you get to cast it again. A lot of decks a lot of times you say, well, I have to cast it again. Here you don't have to, you want to. You want to get more cards off your enchantresses. So, now, Endless Worm is the combo with Rancor. That's the beautiful thing that we did back then is you cast Endless Worm, you put a Rancor on it. Rancor was the enchantment that you sacrificed every upkeep because it just went back to your hand, and then you recast it, and you had an 11/9 trample. But I felt like this was too good of a card not to put in, even though I didn't have the Rancor. Raphaelos' Gift. Return any number of green cards, reveal any number of green cards in your hand. Return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand for each card revealed this way. Another card that just got strong. Yeah. There's no secret. I'm playing with green cards. You know. There are some cards you don't want to show, but yeah. If it's, a wild growth on turn 12, like I said, I'll show that to get back the elephant grass. Which, by the way, elephant grass, a lot of love here. It's the green propaganda. Yes, it does have cumulative upkeep, but it's in the color that can afford that cumulative upkeep, really. Black creatures just flat out cannot attack you. All non-black creatures, it's a propaganda ghostly prison type thing. Primal Order. Now, we are only playing one non-basic land, and you've already seen it in Rogue's Passage. So, yeah, Primal Order. It ends games. It's a lot of damage. A lot of people love our non-basics. Pump Up. What about some Pump Up? Of course, Overrun, Primal Bellow. Man, this used to be a card. It still is in mono green decks, right? Because, most of the time it's a way better giant growth. It's generally 1 for, 6, 7-ish? In Azusa, it's 1 for 14. Aspect of the Hydra, we are kind of focusing in on devotion. So we got the giant growth version of devotion, and then the new card, Clothis's Design. Now, it doesn't give them trample, but we probably already have trample from the various other cards that we have. So, but plus X, everybody gets plus your devotion. Sweet. Mythic Proportions. Yeah, I picked up a couple of this card. I think we're going to be seeing it a couple more times, but you know, it's got 3 green pips, and it turns something into an absolute monster. Oh, can you imagine if we put this on Renata? Right? Right? Yeah, yeah. So let's look at some removal. We have Return to Nature, Squall Line, because let's face it, we don't have a lot of flyers. If we do, you know, Valve Wilderness. I don't care how big it is, as long as it can't hurt me, right? Mystic Renewal again. I know I keep harping on this card, but I love it. It is a great answer. Doesn't care about Indestructible. Acidic Slime, Rex Sage, and our last card of the day is Choke. Now, Choke is kind of one of those cards that's like, man, I can't believe you're playing Choke. And I'll be like, man, I can't believe you're playing Cyclonic Rift. Or I can't believe you're playing, you know. I think this is a totally fair card. However, I mean, because green can bounce it and then counter it, or they can counter it the first time. I mean, you know. But we're green, we got to have some kind of defense, right? But anyway, that is what I've got for Renata. Really, really like Renata. I'm kind of anxious to play this one. Now, this Friday... Wait a minute, it's not this Friday, because y'all are seeing... I'm recording all this on one day. And when I say this Friday, by the time y'all see that day will have come and gone. So, never mind. But that is Renata. We're going to go put that... Love that constellation design here. That's kind of neat. Start a new row. Deck number 531 is done. Yeah. I have got to clean up this room. I've got to, because I have been doing... Yeah, my deck building table is just in terrible, terrible shape. But we're having card night here in the room. Kids used to call this room the vault. I don't know. But, yeah, I got to get that all cleaned up so we can actually play cards on it Friday. Or yesterday. I don't know. But that's what we got for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Right now is probably literally time to shuffle and cut.